Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I'm the person behind Happy Puppy Truffles. Today I wanted to talk with you guys about what it's like to go to the doctor in Japan, if you have kids especially. My youngest daughter had a cold over the weekend that got kind of bad, and she had to stay home from school on Monday and Tuesday actually, because 2 days was what it was. But I wanted to kind of let you guys know what it's like if you happen to be planning on moving out here for a while, or if you're on vacation, what kinds of things to expect, and then just curiosity of knowing what it's like here versus what it might be in other countries. My daughters go to a local pediatrician that really wasn't a very big choice because there's really only one that was kind of close by. So that was sort of the one we went to. You don't choose your doctors, of course, based on insurance, because we have a nationalized healthcare system in Japan. So you can go anywhere you like, and then the government covers a third of the cost, and then you pay the rest. So that's usually the way things go. And because my husband's self-employed here, we actually get a different kind of health insurance payment system set up. If you actually have a job where you go into an office, then they usually have all of that paid for you. Because we are self-employed here, we pay our own payments every month. The cost of what we have to pay changes every time that we turn in our taxes, so it's readjusted based on our income for that. So that's kind of nice. When you're not having a very good year, then things get a little less expensive for you. So just as a random number, we wind up paying about like $400 a month, I guess, is what we pay for family of four. So it's actually a pretty good price. And then the cost of actually going to the doctor, I think, is much cheaper than other times. There isn't necessarily like a really strict, seeing the doctor flat fee and then the cost of medicines on top of that. From where my daughters go, the pediatrician there, they actually dispense their own medicine out of the office, and you'll find a lot of pediatricians do this just to make things simpler for people. But other times when you're an adult and you go to the doctor, then there is a doctor that you see, and then you have to go to a separate pharmacist, and usually the pharmacist is next door in the same building, very close, something like that. So it's not like really that big of a deal. Just like in the States where you'd go and take your prescriptions down to some place to pick them up, it's kind of the same idea. So it kind of works nice that way in that sense. And so my youngest daughter, she was sick, so we took her to the doctor to go see how things were. Now there is a really big, you have to kind of make sure to watch the time of when things are open, because the doctors don't hesitate to take very long lunch breaks. So my pediatrician is not open or operating from 12 to 2. So so much for taking your kid during lunch. You can't do that. They open in the morning, and then they finish up around 5 or 6, I think. So you can't really go that late either. But they kind of are operating under the assumption that a lot of moms don't work, so it shouldn't be too hard to take your kid to the doctor. There are specific times at the doctor where they say that they would like to have the doors open primarily to people who are coming in for checkups. And it's kind of understood that if you have a kid who's sick, it would be a nice courtesy to not come and show up during that time, because the healthy kids are there during that time. Otherwise, everybody's all mixed together. Waiting rooms are just like normal. I mean, I didn't notice anything different about those waiting rooms really. Except for the one waiting, there is an area where you play, and a lot of times when you go into that area to play, you take your shoes off. So the kids have to take their shoes off before they can go into the little play area. But then you come into the front desk and say hello to the nurses who are operating the greeting station, and usually they'll ask you to take your child's temperature. If you're there to get a shot, like a flu shot or an immunization shot, you have to fill out a questionnaire that asks the history of your child when they were born, if the pregnancy was normal, what their birth weight was, if they've been sick lately, if they've had any surgeries, those kinds of questions to make sure that they're okay for the immunization. They cannot have any fever, even a low one, and you are not allowed to get another immunization within 30 days. So they're very strict about that. And some immunizations they break up into parts because they're worried that the kids can't take it. So especially flu shots, if you have a young child, they're almost always done in 2 doses. So you have to go twice to get them. All national required immunizations are free. But if there are something extra, like the flu, you have to pay for those. And, you know, that is usually probably about $60 to get that. So I had to go in and just tell them my daughter had a fever. They didn't even ask me to take it because I told them I had just done it before. Then you have to wait, and then they call you into a secondary waiting room where you go and wait. And it's a fairly small room, so I was just sort of kind of in a hallway, if you will, sitting on a bench with my daughter. And then when the doctor is ready, he calls us in. So usually it's just one doctor operating in an office. So when he was ready for us, we walked in, and you know, he checked my daughter, looked at her throat, looked in her ears, you know, weighed her on the scale, and did the normal usual things that you expect a doctor to do, and realized that it was just a cold. She is a little asthmatic, so she was kind of wheezing from a cough. So then he gave us some time to go use the machines that they have there for asthmatics, and he's known for being really good for asthma and for allergies, so he has those. Now the machines are, you know, set up so that multiple kids get to use them, so they just change the mouthpiece out, and it's an inhaler, like a machine that you use to breathe in. And so my daughter did that for a few minutes, and then we went back out to the waiting room and waited until all the paperwork was done, and then they had the medicine to give us as well. So the whole thing cost me $17. I had the checkup with my doctor. I also got medicine, 3 different kinds of medicines, 4 medicines for 4 days. One of them was an antibiotic, one was a allergen reduction, allergy kind of medicine, and one was a cough suppressant, and also a little like tape kind of medicine that is for controlling asthma. So and that was just for the 4 days that was prescribed, morning and evening kind of thing. Usually medicine is distributed as a powder, especially to children. And the idea is that you just throw that in your mouth and then drink it down, and it tastes terrible. I try to mix it up with water and give it to my daughter. She hates it, so she's finally old enough now. I was like, can you just give us pills? Which is really unheard of. Most people don't swallow pills. They usually prefer the powder. That's kind of the norm. So he gave us pills and we were okay. So she's very happy now. But if you go to a doctor, you usually have like a card that the doctor will give you, and that's for every doctor that you go to. So I have like a whole bag full of these for all the different kinds of doctors. This is the pediatrician. I also have one for the eye doctor. I have one for my own personal doctor, for an eye, nose, and throat doctor when I had a problem with my nose. So we have lots of different ones. We have ones for the vet. You get lots of these cards. They kind of pile up on you, but that helps making checking in easier because they know who you are, of course. And then you need your insurance card, and that's usually just a business side card like this that has all of your information on it, and might have information on the back about being eligible for generic medicines if they're available. So, you know, that's something you have to have with you when you go so that you can be seen. If you don't have the cards, then you can't really go in so easily, unless it's a place you frequent a lot, and then they might be okay with it if they have your information on file. These cards change every year, so you have to be on the lookout for getting those in April when they come. But that's kind of what it's like to go to the doctor here. I thought I'd kind of give you guys an idea. That's a lot of rambling, but you know, now this is just a small kind of place where we live and smaller kinds of doctors, but even in bigger cities, a lot of times this is just a single doctor running his own business usually. I say he because it almost always is a guy. There are occasionally a few women doctors, but they are fewer in number by far than I've seen, for example, in the States. I know when I was getting ready to have my daughters here, I was wanting to try to find a female OBGYN, and there wasn't very many. So sometimes you kind of have to look out for that. You can't always go to the big major doctor offices, the hospitals, and those have every kind of doctor there. And that's where you can go for, for surgeries, for regular checkups. And those are more of the kind of, open till midnight kind of places if you have an emergency or something that you need to do. So you could always go there too if you need to, and if it happens to be closer. The one nearest us is still about an hour away, so I opted for the local doctor, who is just about 20 minutes away. So that turns out easier, you know, to go there. But yeah, I just thought I'd kind of let you guys know what it was like. And if you guys have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And I will have some more fun things to share with you guys in the days to come. Thanks again always so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.